Well, this is round 4 of the championship. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Following Mantop, Nicholas Anderson, the man on top spot. Mike Malmgren in second place, Jari Konala, and this man, Tommy Liner, playing catch-up at the moment. Of course, Tommy Liner, the reigning Pro Stock champion, taking on this man, Jari Konala. I'm joined in the commentary position by Russ. We're both anticipating a very exciting race today.
Hi Graham, well I spoke to Tommy Liner in the pits. I mean, as he comes into this semi-final, he's fourth in the championship, Konala is third, so on paper you might say Konala stands the highest chance of winning, but I think Tommy Liner is on a roll after Sweden, so I think Tommy could take this one.
Well, the number 1 qualifier here at Hockenheim, and Konala, the number 5 qualifier. Pontiac Firebird plays Dodge Avenger, the Avenger. Of course, the mount of Konala moving into pre-stage. Tension mounts, both cars sit in pre-stage. It's Konala moves into stage first, followed by Liner, and the grid, it looks to be Konala away first. Nothing to choose between these cars at the finish line. Tommy Liner just takes the race. Well, a winning 7.10 to a loser 7.17. This then, our second semi-final. A man back in form, Mike Malmgren, the number 3 qualifier with the Oldsmobile Cutlass. He's racing the number 2 qualifier, Nicholas Anderson with the Firebird.
And Nicholas is leading the championship at the moment. Michael is number 2 in the championship. If Nicholas wins here today at Hockenheim, he will clinch the championship. So it's quite key for him to win this semi-final.
Well, the tension mounts, as you can tell, the crews all get very, very anxious at this time, testing the tyre temperature you saw happening there. Mike Malmgren moves into pre-stage, followed by Anderson. Both cars in stage. Anderson away the quicker. Malmgren again lost that form at the start line, and look at this, over a car's length win for Anderson.
Incredibly close there, incredible.
Well, takes the win, 7.12 to a quicker 7.08 loser. Our final Liner will be racing Anderson. Well, Dragster time, top alcohol Dragsters, the championship leaderboard. Peter Beck, the man on top of the pile. From Jarmo Roivas, Peter Schofer, Kari Eskelinen. This then, our first semi-final, number 2 qualifier, Jarmo Roivas. And from Germany, the number 3 qualifier, Peter Schofer.
And it has to be said, the pressure will be on Jarmo Roivas in this race. He really must win this race to keep his championship hopes alive.
Well, someone being very busy with the airbrush between rounds on the front of Peter Schofer's car. Very fierce-looking monster at the start there. Well, here we go. This is where both crews, Timo for Jarmo Roivas, the team from Finland. He's the crew chief. He designates who does what job. All the driver needs to concentrate on now is cutting a good light. There is a confident young man, and here is the opponent. Peter Schofer looking very, very focused indeed. The crews motion their men forward. The staging is very, very important with these cars. The drivers have to be really on their nerve ends. Who's going to be the first into pre-stage? Peter Schofer nudges the car in. Roivas follows him. Both cars wait. It's Roivas into stage, followed by Schofer. At the grid, it looked to be Roivas ahead, but look at this. What a turn-up for the books. It's Peter Schofer takes the win.
We are so happy you are winning.
Well, that means that if Peter Beck wins this semi-final and goes on to win at Hockenheim, it's going to be very difficult for Jarmo to win the championship. Mathematically possible, but very difficult.
Well, we have added interest in this semi-final because racing Peter Beck is from Great Britain. Rob Turner. Rob did ever so well winning the round at Santa Pod, now out here in Hockenheim. Thoughts on that, Russ? Are we in with a shot?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the fact is that he's up against Peter Beck, championship leader. You know, Peter Beck is so hot at the moment. I know Rob really wants to win this one, but he's certainly got the odds stacked up against him, Graham.
Well, number 1 qualifier, Peter Beck. Number 4 qualifier was Rob Turner. The car's moving forward into pre-stage. Just look at the focus on Beck's eyes. Can see nothing but the Christmas tree at this point. Brother Steve fires up Rob. Here we go. This is our second semi-final. Great Britain in the left-hand lane. Switzerland in the right-hand lane. Both in pre-stage. Turner in stage first. Look to be Turner away slightly ahead. But look at the power that Beck is making. Takes the win as Rob Turner clicks it off.
First time in Europe now.
Well, let's take a look at the way the final is going to be. Peter Beck for Switzerland, the championship leader, racing Peter Schofer for Germany.
And if Beck wins, that really is the championship in the bag. And this is what it's like underneath the top alcohol funny car. The monster engine there with the driver sat squarely behind it. Very dangerous position.
Well, the championship leaderboard, Leif Andreasson ahead for Sweden. From Michael Kagerad, Leif Helander, Lex June in 4th place. This then, our first semi-final. And the man leading the championship, Leif Andreasson, the #1 qualifier with the Firebird.
Again, if he wins the semi and the final today, that really does clinch the championship for him. So there's a lot of pressure on Leif to get it all squared away today.
He's racing Dan Larsen, the man in 6th place in the championship in this semi-final. Dan, the #4 qualifier here today. And this is going to be a close one. But of course, Russ, this type of car is not the usual fare for Hockenheim.
That's right, Graham. Normally, Hockenheim is used for Formula 1 racing and circuit racing. The start that we see here is actually specifically built for drag racing. But after the start, they launch and they go downhill actually onto the existing track. And you can see some of the stands in the background there that are used during the Formula 1 race.
Well, of course, the stands behind the car there, they're important for the drag racing. But a magnificent venue you may recognise. The runoff area for the cars as one of the straights. The Formula 1 cars normally coming towards us. Here we go. It is Andreasson into stage, followed by Larsen. That's free stage. It is Larsen moves into stage first. Andreasson follows him in. Well, look at that. The clutch drags Andreasson over the start line. A red line hands the automatic win to Larsen, a 6.14. Major upset. The championship leader, Leif Andreasson, is out of the competition. This our second semi-final, the Mustang of Michael Kagerad and the Firebird of Detso Grieven.
Well, that's incredible because Leif Andreasson there did not want to lose that race. Michael Kagerad now will know that he's got a chance to close the points gap in the championship. Michael Kagerad must win this race. He realises that he can still win the championship if he can take it to Santapod in about 4 weeks' time.
Well, having a good weekend so far, Russ. Qualified in the #2 spot. Grieven, the #5 qualifier, with the car we've seen very little of in '98 in the championship. The favourite has to be Michael Kagerad. Well, Kagerad the first into pre-stage and stage, followed by Grieven at the green. Kagerad away, but look at Grieven charging after him. Kagerad it is, takes the win. Has he raced our other finalists before?
Not in the final, but we met them in the qualification, and I think we're ready now to make a hit.
Well, a big hit it needs to be. Kagerad's big chance to keep his championship hopes alive. The final, Dan Larsen takes on Sweden's Michael Kagerad. Nitro time. Top Fuel, the semi-finals this round 4 at Hockenheim. Great Britain's Barry Sheevels, Finland's Anita Michaela, the numbers 2 and 3 qualifiers.
And of course Barry has a chance to clinch the title if he can win in Hockenheim today, but he has been having problems during qualifying getting his car to stick to the track, and that wing on the back of this Top Fuel dragster is a spare that Rico Antis has loaned to Barry to help him increase the downforce to try and make the car stick to the track.
Well, at over 200 miles per hour, over 20 tons of downward force on those wings. Think about that for a second when the cars are flying through the top end at over 260 miles per hour. Here we go, the cruise work is over. Now down to the drivers. Both cars in pre-stage, Barry goes in stage. Anita follows him in, and a green, it looks to be Anita Michaela away first. Cylinders going away for Barry. Anita Michaela takes the win.
I think that wing was just making the motor work too hard.
It's brilliant. But all the problem we have a truck to manufacture last day, and we're happy we got it down, the car down to 5.0 right now. Happy for Anita, happy for the crew.
Well, another championship leader, Barry Sheevels, goes out in the semi-final. The championship now wide open. Jens Nebo, the #1 qualifier here this weekend, racing this man, Tommy Happinen, in our second semi-final.
Has to be said on the form book that Jens Nebo should win this one, and if he does, it would level the championship as they go into the 5th and final round at Santapod.
Well, again, the crewman shows that the throttle stop is off from the burnout. Both cars roll forward. Jens Nebo into pre-stage. Tommy Happinen follows him in. And it is Happinen going into full stage. Followed quickly by Jens Nebo. And the green, well, look at that. Nebo out like a rocket. A .48 reaction time takes the win.
Yeah, we're quite happy. 5.06 and 5.03 yesterday, so this would be a perfect final between our old pal Peter and his crew. So 5.06 against 5.06 will be a one hell of a final.
While referring, of course, to Peter Land's crew chief for Anita Michaela. Anita now into this final to race the #2 man in the championship, Jens Nebo.
Now tens of thousands of avid German fans have been pouring into Hockenheim all weekend. And even though qualifying was totally rained out yesterday, it doesn't seem to have affected their enthusiasm. So why is drag racing so popular here in Germany? Let's find out from FIA drag racing promoter Keith Bartlett.
It's an historical race here at Hockenheim. The Nitro Olympics, as it's been known, has been running for over 10 years. This is the first year the FIA Championship visits Hockenheim, but still there's amazing numbers of spectators. 60, 70,000 spectators attend the Saturday night qualifying session. It's just an atmosphere and a market that's very important to the FIA Championship. The German market and the corporate market is very important, and the German fans just turn out in their tens of thousands for European drag racing.
Well, yesterday in qualifying we had some stunning news as Germany's Rico Antis became only the second European ever to break the 5-second barrier.
While Rico not participating in the FIA Championship for 98, they've been doing a lot of development work on the car. Came out, ran a 4.98, and then this incredible run. Look at the time.
Well, it was actually the result of what we tried the whole last year, and we didn't have any luck in 97, but we were sure the car was capable to do it, and we proved it here. We did it once, we did it twice. It was not a lucky shot. I think everybody knows that this car is the fastest car in Europe.
Finals time, the FIA Championship, round 4 here at Hockenheim. We caught up with finalist Tommy Liner in the right-hand lane.
I can't tell you who's going to win this, but I don't have any pressure because he's got pretty good lead in the points, so I'm just trying to tease him a little bit and try to win this race and get the money here.
Who's going to stage first?
I don't know. Maybe I will stage. I don't know. Maybe I'll go straight to the stage and see what he will do.
Well, Tommy Liner undecided what he's going to do. Let's go over to the red team and ask Nicholas Anderson who's going to stage first.
Me.
You?
Yeah. And we win.
Well, that's laying it on the line, isn't it, Russ? How about you? No doubts there who's going to win.
Very brief. Well, he seems to be very confident. I've got no idea who's going to go into stage here first. I guess at the end of the day, the championship can be decided if Nicholas wins this race. He can actually clinch the championship. So my money has to go on Tommy Liner because he's going to want to keep this wide open for Santapod.
Well, we will see. Tommy Liner rolling the car forward into pre-stage, followed by Anderson. Very high tension. There's Liner into pre-stage. Who's going to stage first? It is Tommy Liner into stage, followed by Anderson at the green. Well, very difficult to tell, but Anderson out there ahead.
It's neck and neck all the way up to the line there, Graham. I can't tell.
Wow, Tommy Liner takes it. Wow, a winning 7.09 to a losing 7.10. And look at that on reaction time. Anderson was the man out ahead first.
By 1,000th of a second there, Graham.
Well, sometimes that translates into tenths at the finish line, but not on this occasion. The silver Firebird first to the finish line. Well, that really does make for an exciting finale to 1998 at Santa Pod in the Pro Stock Championship. Take a look at this, 4 drivers in with a chance of taking it. Let's have a word with Tommy Liner about that last race.
Nicholas was a little bit forward and he was a little bit faster through the half track, and then I just shifted the 5th gear and I started to catch him, and I knew at the finish line that I made it.
We're in the pit of Peter Schofer. He's had to change his whole engine since the semi-final. There's about half an hour to go now until the final. Peter's working on his engine. Peter, do you think you're going to make it?
Yes, we'll make it.
Good luck. I'd better carry on.
Well, with only a few minutes to spare, here is Peter Schofer in the final, racing this man, Peter Beck.
This day is the track better than yesterday, and we can make the power of the ground. And we have this 5.72. It's my best time.
Well, everything going Peter Beck's way. Peter Schofer would seem to be up against it. Racing in the final, the man leading the championship and the #1 qualifier. What was all that hard work in the pits about, Russ?
Well, his engine let go during the semi-finals and he had to completely rebuild it, and as you can see, he was getting heavily involved himself. But the other news from the paddock is that Peter Beck is trying to step up to Top Fuel next year, Graham.
Well, that'll really put the cat amongst the pigeons. You've seen what a hard race that Peter Beck is. This final is going to be a goodie. Beck needs the points for the championship. He's the first man in the stage. Schofer follows him in. Look at this, very tense. It is Beck in the stage first. Schofer at the green. Well, smoking the tyres is Beck. Clicks it off. Peter Schofer goes through, takes the win. Another upset.
We are so happy. The first thing in Germany. Thank you.
Well, so happy indeed. Well done, Peter Schofer and the team. Peter Beck still the man leading the championship from Jarmo Roivas. Schofer and Britain's Rob Turner in 3rd and 4th. We spoke briefly to Peter Schofer. His English about as good as my German. Basically, he said how happy he was that all the hard work was paying off. Top alcohol funny car, the final. Here's Michael Kagerad in the office waiting for the fire up. We asked Michael for his views on Dan Larsen.
He's a really fast guy now, and I don't know, but I think I have met him once or twice and I have won the race.
Michael has to be favourite in this race. We've already seen a couple of upsets. As the cars burn out, let's go back to the pits and have a word with Dan Larsen.
Yeah, we've got a little more power for the next one.
Who gets lane choice?
I do.
And which lane are you going for?
Right.
Well, everyone who had choice has gone for that right-hand lane today. Gives a slight advantage to Dan Larsen. Firebird plays Mustang, the man from Linköping. Michael Kagerad in that left-hand lane. It is Kagerad first into pre-stage, followed by Larsen. Well, both cars going to stage. You saw Michael Kagerad away first, stumbles away from the line. But look at this, a slow run by his standards. But Dan Larsen already has clicked it off. Kagerad takes the win at 7.1.
Which is good for the championship because it means that Michael Kagerad closes the gap on Leif Andreasen. And again, this championship is wide open as we go to Santa Pod.
Yeah, the car was moving all over the track, and I have to pedal it all the way up, and it was from the side to the side, and yeah, but it was only to take it to the finish line as quick as possible.
I'm sitting in the cockpit of Barry Shievel's Top Fuel Dragster. Let me take you through one of his runs. He's done his burnout and he's approaching the line. He's put it into forward gear here on the left-hand side. As he goes into that second stage light, he pushes the second fuel pump forward. That delivers 1 gallon of nitro every second into the motor just behind his head. Now, he's looking for that green light to go. When the ambers count down, he's holding the car on the brake here on the right-hand side. When he releases the brake, the clutch is immediately dumped. So if he floors the throttle, in 1 second he'll be doing 100 miles an hour and his head will be pressed right back here. In 5 seconds he'll cross the line, he'll hit the 2 chutes on the left and the run's over. The white knuckle ride.
Well, we move to the final of Top Fuel.
I think we got a good combination now. We are here with a car without computer, so we can't see exactly what the engine does down there. So I have to tell my crew what is wrong, and we have to guess out of that what we have to do to the next round. But I think we have a combination now for a 502 or 1.
Well, going to be real hard work for Jens' competitor in this final. That lovely lady, Anita Michaela.
So Anita, you both had exactly the same time on the last run, so who's going to have lane choice in the final?
Yeah, it was 5.069 for both of the cars, but because I had the top speed 450 kilometers per hour and Jens had 445, so I'm supposed to have the lane choice now.
And which lane?
Right, don't tell that to Jens.
Well, we're not going to give anything away, are we, Russ? But everybody seems to favour that right-hand lane.
Yeah, but unlike at Mantorp Park in Sweden in the previous round where the lane choice seemed to matter, here so far at Hockenheim, I don't think it's going to count for so much.
Well, the man who's second place in the championship, Jens Nebo, is the first into pre-stage. Anita Michaela follows him in. Nebo rolls into second on the green. It looked like Michaela away first. But look at Jens Nebo pounding through the top
Incredibly
end.
close there, Graham, incredibly close, but Jens Nebo got it with a 5.02.
Well, if you take a look at this race again in slow motion, you can see just 0.05 of a second separated the reaction times of the two cars, and you can see how that translates into over half a car advantage at the finish line.
Yeah, we are leading championship, and that's will make a good race at the World Finals at Salzburg.
Well, could it be better heading for the final round of this year's FIA Championship? Tied in first place, Barry Schievels and Jens Nebo, Anita Michaela, Tommy Happinen, third and fourth.
Yes, incredibly close race. Did you know you'd got it?
Yeah, I felt that I have a pretty good reaction time, and I couldn't see her the whole way down, so I felt I had her in my pocket, absolutely.